It's Simon's story, a story of betrayal, manipulation, and survival. It's an exploration of narcissistic personality disorder in the workplace and the emotional impacts on others and the aftermath. But above all, it's a journey of healing and resilience from toxic relationships.
I never thought I would be here, telling my story, but I have realized it's not just about me. It's about helping others recognize and overcome similar toxic experiences. My telling of the story is the reopening up the wounds, but I hope it will help others who are in the same situation I have been into.
It all started in 2019, when Simon's professional life took a tumultuous turn. Having joined a law firm led by his former teacher, who is the senior partner of the firm, Simon initially earned only modest income on a freelance basis.
Everything was fine. In 2022, my clientele had increased tremendously. I was happy.
In 2022, his employers, which is the senior partner whom he trusts, and his other accomplice solicitor orchestrated what he only later fully understood to be a manipulative scheme.
I was asked to go to this newly set up sub-office. They told me that it would have increased my profits and earnings. But as soon as I moved to the sub-office, I could feel the unease and the toxic tensions with all these red flags which should not be gone unnoticed. Soon I find they have blocked all the clients' payment and disbursements for counsel. But on the other hand, they were picking on funny issues such as all the bills prepared by my staff were all wrong, but actually it's not true. They tried to abuse and bully my helpful assistants and the supporting staff in order to suffocate, diminish, and humiliate my authority. Basically, I would say these were all gaslightings, manipulation, and lying even on the face of it.
What Simon has just said is a case of narcissistic abuse in a workplace environment. Narcissism is directly related to counterproductive workplace behaviors: lying, initiating rumors, sabotage, aggression, secrecy, wasting other employers' time, are all examples of how narcissistic disorder manifests in a workplace environment. UK psychologist Oliver James identified narcissism as one of the 3 dark traits in the workplace. What's the narcissistic personality disorder, and why and how does it occur? Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They seek attention and admiration excessively, often at the expense of others. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. As they think they have the rights to abuse others, they rarely seek any therapy. Narcissistic personality disorder is thought to originate in the young childhood in response to either neglectful or abusive parenting or excessive parental cosetting and praise. It is generally accepted that the narcissists require others to view their idealized self, not their actual self. So, Simon, when did you begin to realize that what was happening went beyond normal workplace challenges?
It was a slow realization process for me. I thought at the beginning these were just misunderstandings or mismanagement. But as time goes by, the consistent gaslighting and the manipulation, the shifting brain for things beyond my understanding, and the way they isolated me, all these were not coincidence. For almost over 10 to 12 months, no salary, commissions, or even disbursements were ever paid out. I was under tremendous pressure by the day, both emotionally and financially.
Gaslighting, manipulation, lying, intimidation, sabotage, or aggressive behaviors are just some of the common traits of narcissists, as said before. But let's dive into them. For example, the gaslighting, one of the most used techniques. Narcissists will deny what you know to be true in an attempt to destabilize you. And then labeling. Narcissist loves labels. For instance, they might call someone incompetent or useless, projecting their insecurity onto others. This is called projection, unconsciously attributing unwanted feelings or traits to someone else.
On advice from friends and lawyers, it seems we all agree the best course of action is just to leave. Literally, I just left everything and walk out. Knowing narcissists can be violent, and given their prior claims of tried connections, I had to take precautions. And thankfully, some loyal staff supported me, and with their assistance, they tender my resignation letters, and I literally just walk out. I hoped my resignations would finally at least resolve the financial issues. But to my surprise, when counsel traced their fees, they maliciously claimed it was me who had stopped the payments, portraying me as the irresponsible and incompetent villains. This was blatantly just further non-stop gaslighting, manipulation, labeling, and lying as usual. And even up to now, they are doing that.
Intimidation is another trait. Narcissists are often bullies, relying on verbal, psychological, or emotional force to get what they want. Love bombing is another one. Narcissists thrive on the manipulation game, often seeking what is called narcissistic supply.
The evenings that that I tender my resignation letter, I got a call from him. He said in such a intimidating tones, saying, "If anything happens to my firm, I will never forgive you." The threat and the telephone call left me so bewildered. Am I the person who did anything wrong, or it is the other way round? Every now and then, he insisted that the matter could only be resolved through face-to-face meetings. His insistence for face-to-face meetings were dubious and, if not, dangerous. It is just a delaying tactic for the payments, but meant to intimidate. And yet, this is kind of gaslighting, highly manipulative, misleading, and avoiding. On the day that I walk out, the senior partner, my former teacher, sent me a handwritten personal note. He mentions he had a meeting with one of my favorite teachers on that evening. The fact is, I was a favorite student of this teacher in school, and I think he's trying to manipulate other people against me. I think this is yet another kind of love booming tactic. Narcissists thrive on the manipulation game, often seeking what is called the narcissistic supply, and the tug of war continue forever, which could be only to his advantage, and nothing was moved on or resolved.
Victims often struggle with feelings of worthlessness after months or years of being told how stupid and useless they are. This can lead to depression, and as a narcissist abuser survivor, you will likely have post-traumatic stress disorder. Your brain will be on high alert, looking out for danger. This is because the traumatic events triggered a fight or flight response within you. As a result, anything associated with those memories can trigger an anxiety attack. You may also steer clear of certain situations or things that remind you of the abuse. This can range from avoiding certain places or certain people.
Every time that if I come close to my formal office, I can feel very unease, and I can tell you that I could feel the chest pains or stomach ache. The worst part for the victims is the feeling like the victim himself or herself is the problem. It took me a long time to realize it wasn't me. It was them in my healing process. Most of the bills came back it is obviously they were playing games. They deliberately mess up, say, two bills into one, or vice versa. These are sort of classical examples. So it was till April 2023 that I finally realized these facts. There was nothing had moved on for the last 2 years. I find myself eventually suffering from PTSD. And at that time, I find I had a serious suicidal inclination.
In August 2021, Simon decided to leave the firm, a step he described as the wisest decision of his life.
Walking away wasn't easy for me. I was really worried about the professional and any financial consequences. But I can tell you, staying would have destroyed me completely. With their ever ongoing narcissistic abuse daily for almost over the whole year by then.
Simon faced immense challenges, from unresolved financial burden to battling depression and PTSD. Through a combination of psychiatric support, counseling, and narrative therapy, he began a journey of healing. In particular, narrative therapy is a collaborative approach to counseling that views people as experts in their own lives. It separates individuals from their problems and helps them reframe their life stories. The main techniques used in narrative therapy include externalization, which means separating the person from the problem, deconstructions, and reauthoring, which means creating a new positive story to reshape one's identity.
Narrative therapy allows me to take control of my story. It helps me to separate myself from the problems, and it helps me to understand and reshape my identity. In particular, what works for me is filmmaking. I've always wanted to write, to do arts, to do filmmaking, and if it isn't for the incidents, I would not be doing all this now. So there is good things rewarded to you after the bad things happened to you.
Other therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy and trauma-focused therapy are also effective for survivors of narcissistic abuse, as they can help process their experiences, rebuild self-esteem, and develop healthy coping mechanisms.
Each person's path to recovery is unique, but I would say some professional support is crucial.
Professional relationships are built on trust, but what happens when that trust is weaponized? Simon's experience highlights the subtle yet devastating tactics of manipulation and narcissistic abuse in the workplace environment.
Looking back, actually, there were warning signs or so-called red flags that I have completely ignored. First of all, with hindsight, these teachers, even back in those school days, had already displayed all these in his teaching, in his attitudes towards students. Then, when I first joined his firms, there were already school friends telling me, gossiping about his malpractice, for which I had completely ignored. I have dismissed it as it is a kind of rumor, or it's just smeared complaints against his firms or against him out of jealousies. At the end, I make some misjudgment and I trust the wrong person.
Recognizing red flags in relationships, particularly in professional relationships, is crucial. This can include consistent overpromising, creating unnecessary conflicts, isolating team members, or exploiting personal vulnerabilities. Protecting oneself begins with clear personal boundaries. Maintaining transparency in communication, document key agreements, and don't hesitate to seek support or advice when something feels off. Simon's story serves as a reminder. Trust is vital, but blind trust can be dangerous. Growth mindset is necessary, but things changes over the time. And learning to recognize patterns of manipulation and valuing your own boundaries can make all the difference.
I may have a fixed mindset. My traumatic experience is good. It's a wake-up call for me to have a growth mindset. I can tell you, up to now, all the bills are still not paid at all. They are still gaslighting, if I can say, or bullying me, whatever there is a chance arising in the last few months via various channels. But from the day I find myself, I have these suicidal inclinations, I told myself that I can make it and I will hang on to it. Otherwise, I could have committed suicide easily in 2002. There could be many people who did and have committed suicide for whatever reasons, and for those people, we will never be able to see them. We will never have a chance to hold on their hands anymore. I must say is that I was lucky to survive. One thing I do want to say to them is, I believe that one only can help someone to help themselves. My traumatic experience makes me think and to rethink. Life is never fully examined, is not a life fully lived out. coming to understand the dark side of human beings in the circumstances is not an easy pill for me to swallow. I believed in humankind is all good in nature. Even up to today, telling this story is not an easy thing for me to do. But for healing, it needs is to let go. Not to let go of the evil villains, but you yourself. And after all, it is you yourself is the only person at the end to help yourself there. Never give up or preempt yourself to learn something new. And after all, to face up the challenges. The problem itself is not the problem. It is how you perceive the problem that is the problem.
Through adversity, Simon found clarity. His journey, while marked by hardships and betrayal, has ultimately become a testament to resilience and self-discovery.